Have you ever had a completely free Saturday? No chores, no deadlines, nowhere to be, and yet the second you sat down on the couch to relax, this cold, heavy knot of guilt started tightening in your chest. You try to watch a movie, but your brain is running a scrolling list of all the things you should be doing instead. If you feel like you have to earn your right to exist by being constantly busy, trust me, you are not lazy and you aren't failing. You're actually caught in a psychological trap that's been decades in the making. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of why we feel so guilty for not being productive and why your brain treats a nap like it's a moral failure. First, let's talk about the human doing operating system. For many of us, this guilt started way back in childhood. If you were a golden child or someone who had to grow up a little too fast, you might have learned early on that being helpful or successful was the only way to keep your environment stable. Psychologists call this parentification, where your worth got tangled up with your usefulness. When you learned that your needs came second to your ability to hold things together, you didn't just learn a habit, you built an entire operating system that says, if I'm not doing something valuable, I'm not safe. In adulthood, this manifests as a deep primal need to manage every variable, because for that inner child, doing nothing once meant chaos might break out. The second reason is what researchers call schema disruption. Most of us were raised on a very specific social contract. If you work hard and stay productive, you'll reach the markers of adulthood, the house, the stability, the peace of mind. But for a lot of people, especially millennials and Gen X, that map doesn't match the territory anymore. You're working harder than ever, yet those milestones feel further away, creating this constant low-level stress called allostatic load. It's like being stuck in the loading screen of your own life, where your brain is constantly revving its engine for a future that never feels quite here yet. Because you can't reach the big goals, your brain tries to compensate by over-functioning in the small ones, making you feel like every second of your day needs to be optimized just to stay afloat. Third, we have to talk about the death of seasonality. Modern society has basically decided that we should be at 100% productivity all year round, but that's not how humans evolved. For thousands of years, winter was a time for conservation and rest, and nobody felt bad about it because the whole tribe was doing the same thing. Today, we've rejected that rhythm. We expect our brains to have the same summer energy in the middle of a dark January. When you feel that urge to stay in your pajamas and do nothing, that's not you being unproductive. That's your ancestral craving for safety and rest kicking in. Your caveman brain is trying to throw you a dopamine party for successfully finding shelter and saving energy, but your modern ego is shouting over it with a to-do list. The truth is, your rest isn't a reward for good behavior. It's a biological requirement. When you're constantly on, your brain is stuck in hypervigilance, recording and analyzing every microexpression and flickering light until your battery percentage is in the red. This is why we often end up doom scrolling or rewatching the same TV show for the 20th time. It's not that you're lazy, it's that you've reached decision fatigue. Your brain is choosing cognitive cruise control because it is literally too exhausted to process anything new. So, here is your reframe for the day. You are a human being, not a human doing. Your worth isn't measured by how many emails you answered or how clean your kitchen is. You are allowed to be messy, you are allowed to be silly, and most importantly, you are allowed to be a beginner at being taken care of. Tell me, does your brain start a shame spiral the moment you try to relax, or have you found a way to actually turn off the productivity noise? Drop your experience in the comments. Let's find our people and realize we're all just trying to navigate a world that's way too loud. If this hit home, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.